Now, the rand has rallied in recent days as the bets have increased that Britain will remain within the European Union. Generally, markets are hoping for that outcome as a British exit or Brexit throws up massive uncertainty and risk. The crucial referendum will be held tomorrow. Rival sides are throwing their efforts into the final day of campaigning on the eve of the vote that could shape the future of Europe.
It has dominated the UK political agenda for months.
We need to be in this organisation fighting for British interests and for British jobs. Leaving is quitting.
What we used to know as a British passport is now a passport for EU citizens.
If we quit the EU, then there will be a big economic price to be paid.
What they say is that that sacrifice of democracy is worth it for the economic gain. And what I want to say to you today is that that argument is morally and practically completely wrong.
The arguments have now been made. Campaigning has caused deep divisions inside the government, with senior cabinet ministers and the Prime Minister battling against each other. Those battles have made this a messy campaign and a difficult decision for voters. No country has ever left the EU, so no one's exactly sure just how a Brexit will work. For analysts, predicting how Britain may look outside of the EU is not an easy task.
It's very hard to judge exactly how Britain's influence on the world stage would be affected. At one level, the UK would no longer have a voice in the EU, and that would clearly weaken both that element of Britain's voice and the EU. On the other hand, those who want Britain to leave argue that Britain's voice would be much more distinctive in places where it does represent itself, and it would represent itself in those days. And of course, Britain would still keep, we assume, for the time being, its seat on the UN Security Council and in other international bodies where it represents itself.
Polls open Thursday morning and will close at 10 p.m. UK time, 11 p.m. South Africa. On Friday morning, we'll know whether Britain is heading out of or staying in the EU. What's for certain is the future relationship between the UK and the Union will be changed forever. Dan Whitehead, SABC News, London.